Hello and welcome to the Gunnar Vibe. Um, haven't been able to make a post-match video about West Ham. Um, was traveling, but the result was, um, not that we were supposed to drop points at home. First time since the Brighton loss last season in the penultimate game that we threw away the league last season, that we have had 30 plus shots, and we couldn't score. If you constantly watch every episode of Gunnar Vibe, between me and Arun and the videos that I've always pointed out, we are missing a striker, right? And if you saw the West Ham game, and today we just came off with another defeat in at Craven Cottage against Fulham, where we actually started very bright. We got the breakthrough 1-0 in 5 minutes. After that, we were just flat, purely abysmal performance. We had two strikers on the pitch at the end of 90 minutes, Gabriel Jesus and Nketiah barely had a shot on goal. I only remember one shot from Nketiah that went across the post from Leno, and they are just not cut out for the job. I mean, this is we are, as a club at Arsenal, we cannot have mediocre players if we want to challenge for the title. Um, Mathematically, it's we're of course still in it, right? 42 points, Liverpool with a game in hand. They will potentially win tomorrow against Newcastle and go 45. 5 points. Mathematically, yes, possible. But psychologically and emotionally, I don't think Arsenal are at the same level as last season. Um, this is not jumping on the negative bandwagon. I would be the very few more positive oriented um, mindset in terms of a fan base. I always have supported through the toughest years, through the Wenger era, through Unai Emery, and through our Freddie Ljungberg, and even through the first couple of seasons of Arteta. I'm not of a fan of jumping onto bandwagons just because of a few negative results, but as a point of reflection, I just feel like we're not what we were last season. We are, yes, we are good for top three. I wouldn't deny it. We'll easily make top four. I don't deny that. But we are just throwing away opportunities. What could have added 6 points to take us at the summit with 46, two winnable games, right? West Ham home and Fulham away, that we easily dispatched last season. So we dispatched last season at the Emirates 3-1, after being down at halftime. And then if I remember, my memory is usually very sharp. Fulham away was our best performance last season. We were 3-0 in the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and that was a masterclass performance. We went up 3-0, we controlled the game, the pace, and we saw the game out, and we collected 3 points. So that's 6 points that we had last season already from these two games, which we have dropped again. So all the hard work against beating City at home, all the hard work doing, beating Palace away, and all those things that we did in the first 15 games, in the last 3-4 games, we have thrown away, we have squandered the opportunity, right? We don't go into the league until January 20th. We do have time to recover mentally, but we do face an interesting prospect of facing Liverpool next weekend. And that's in the FA Cup. Our hard work at at Anfield this season, we have squandered it away. I feel there's something holding us back, or I also see a little bit of change of personnel affecting it. Partey, I know that Declan Rice has been a great replacement for Partey, and Partey has actually barely featured this season. But what Partey also offered, along with holding the defensive line, protection to the defensive line, was his line breaking passes. which Declan Rice does not have. When he got the ball, the way he distributed them to Martinelli and Saka across, the defensive line of the opposition was very smooth, and we used to underestimate that because it just organically happened. The first 20 games this season, we have been missing that. We have been powering through, but if you notice, missing of Partey has dried up goals for Martinelli and Saka. Saka has been almost as he was what he was last season. I mean, he came up with a goal today. He came up with an opportunity that he could have easily equalized, defensive block by João Palhinha, and the very big miss that he had, he just squandered it up to the roof of the stadium. Saka did have his fair shot of chances. Saka was the only bright spot today. Abysmal from like Trossard. I mean, his cross is very poor. He not a single clear-cut chance in the second half. The only couple of shots from Saka, and that's about it. So West Ham game compared to Fulham game, West Ham, we were at least really good in terms of attempts. We almost had 30 attempts. Of course, we failed, which highlights my top devil's advocate point: missing a big striker. We are missing Aubameyang. We are missing Lacazette. We had those two guys plundering through goals, even though we had one of the poorest seasons. The two seasons where we finished 8th and then 5th. These guys were still pumping in goals. We need a 30+ goal striker if we are serious about challenging for the title. And if the Arsenal hierarchy don't see that opportunity, second year in running, if we had a striker last season, we would have easily won the league. All the low block games that we lost against Nottingham Forest and the couple of defeats that we had last season, add 30 goals to the goal tally we had, we could have blown teams away. But we have failed to capitalize on our position last season. And we went ahead again with Jesus and Nketiah. I'm not against them, but are they scoring goals? No. Are they number 9s? Yes. The main job of them is to score goals. And if they're not able to convert, they should not be part of the team, because opportunity after opportunity has been squandered, and we come back with back-to-back defeats to end this year. So I feel it's absolutely shocking in terms of performance. We were under par today versus the West Ham game. West Ham game, at least we can say, oh yeah, we had opportunities, we didn't score. Okay, conversion was the issue. But today, Fulham successfully dismantled our midfield. They had a man marker on Odegaard. Teams have understood how to frustrate us. If we block Odegaard and Saka, we are totally clueless, because even if you have 3 strikers on the pitch, if the service is missing, you don't even need to mark Jesus and Nketiah, because nobody's going to even ever be able to pass the ball to them. And Nelson, I mean, not to pick on anyone, but there was no sense of urgency. If you saw Nelson where he had a throw in, you are 2-1 down at 80+ minutes. There needs to be urgency to quickly pass the ball onto the pitch and move it up. All we saw today was side-to-side passing, even from Tomiyasu. Okay, he's defensively stable. Yes, we rotated Ben White and we rotated Zinchenko, but we ended up with the same result. I just feel like we are lacking mentality this season, and I'm worried about that mentality more than the mathematical possibility of going for the title. We have a 15-day break from the Premier League, which trust me, it's for the Arsenal fans mentally it was needed, because we have been so poor that if a game again over the next weekend, we would have thrown it away, right? We are so out of form. Man City were having a bad patch, but they arrested it with the Luton game, and then they defeated Sheffield United. And there you go. They're ahead of us. Arsenal suddenly look at themselves at 4th in a really crowded top 4. And that is what scares me more than anything. Today, I mean, I don't really have any bright spots apart from Saka. Saka tried. He gave his whole heart for the 95 plus minutes that we played. Declan Rice was great, but we still conceded 2 goals. I mean, defensive errors again. Defensive error. Two Gabriel Magalhaes defensive errors. We concede 2 corners and we concede 2 goals. We need to stop the individual errors from set pieces. We again conceded from set piece today. We did concede the similar goal with the West Ham. It was our ex defender, Mavropanos, and he came out of nowhere and he scored. So defensive lapses in set piece, I think, was the game against us in the last week, in the 2 games. Very disappointing end to a 2023 that had so much hopes of winning the title last season, and then we of course have a chance, but I feel mentally we don't have a chance. At least if we don't add to our injuries, if we don't add to our squad in January, if we need an Ivan Toney or a Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke has 12 goals. Jesus plus Saka plus Martinelli together don't have 12 goals. That is a striker that is the statistic that will need to be looked at by our hierarchy. That yes, we are good at spreading goals, but think about adding a big striker to it and getting another 20 plus goals. We can win the league if we are serious about it. But I will wait. Tomorrow, the window opens. We'll see. We have seen interest around Ivan Toney. We have seen interest around Dominic Solanke, and we will find out. We will find out from the Arsenal board that if what we're going to do in these next 30 days. The good point is we only have 1 Premier League game or 2 Premier League games in the whole month of January. We have an FA Cup game on the 7th against Liverpool. Then we play Crystal Palace on the 20th at home. So at least we have home comfort for those 2 games. And lastly, we have Nottingham Forest away. Again, you saw yesterday, they comfortably defeated Man United at the City ground. And last year, PTSD, we lost 1-0 there. We threw away the title there. That could have been 3 points. So by no means the next 4 games will be critical. And I don't see an easy path. We have Arsenal home in the FA Cup to Liverpool. Arsenal home to Crystal Palace in the Premier League on the 20th. January 30th, as I said, Nottingham Forest away, a difficult place to go and win for Arsenal on 30th. And then February 4th, well and behold, we welcome Liverpool again back to the Emirates. And the next game again after Liverpool is West Ham away. Think about PTSD. Last season, these were the teams that literally stopped us from winning the title. And it's turning out to be very sour in terms of what we're doing this season. So no easy games for Arsenal in January and February. And then we quickly go on to Champions League. So we have our hands cut out to stop the rot and get back to winning ways. And let's start that against Liverpool, at least to go closer to another opportunity to win the FA Cup. It's not going to be easy, but the only comfort is we are at home. But let's support our team. I mean, I'm always going to be positive. I'm always going to support the team. But Arsenal collectively as a group, us as fans, and we need to support the team when they're not in form. We always enjoy when they're in form, but we need to support. I will always emphasize that. But again, come on, Arsenal. We cannot keep performing like this and expect everyone to keep cheering. What we saw last season, we have set the bar high, and it's the players' job to continue that this season. Come on, Arsenal, let's keep supporting. But things don't look good at this moment, but I'm welcome for the break that we have. Let's see what we can do in the January transfer window, and hope to see you guys on Guna Vibe. throughout January across fixtures, as well as a little bit of transfer gossip. So see you soon, and keep supporting us, keep listening to us, and keep commenting, sharing, and liking across platforms. And thank you so much. Happy New Year to the rest of you and to all the Gooner fans. I know it's not been the greatest end to the last few days of the year, but let's hope 2024 will bring us better games and better victories. Thank you, and talk to you later.